Certainly in the media, there's been quite a few police versus fire incidents on traffic emergencies of late. The traffic incident management system training has become a national push, which is a really great thing. And we have this situation here where one of our driver operators decides to chastise a police officer parked next to a hydrant.
Well, I think if the scenario is as if you're the officer riding along in the right seat, and you're with your driver operator and a firefighter in the back, and all of a sudden you're riding along and your driver sees a police officer sitting there on the side of the road next to a hydrant and just arbitrarily stops, leans out the window and goes, "Hey, you're parked next to a hydrant. You see where you're parked?" I think that's completely inappropriate, and you as the officer may not even have time to be able to diffuse that before it's even started up.
Well, what do? Grab him by the seatbelt and snatch him back?
No, I think in this situation, if he turns around and makes a statement like that before you've even had a chance to, stop it, then the truck has to be pulled over. First thing that the officer is going to have to do is go out and diffuse with the police officer, to make sure that everything is okay there. All right, because I'm sure that that police officer is not going to be pleased with the fire service at that particular point. And then secondly, the officer is going to have to go and he needs to speak to the driver right then and there, not demean him in front of anybody else, but basically correct the action and then back at the station.
Well, career, volunteer, it doesn't make any difference. We've all got to have a working relationship with the police.
I think that's very, very important. We need a good relationship with the police. And I think this wasn't a fire. This was just a police officer parked on the side of the road. A lot of times, hydrants is where they park because it's an open space. We don't have a fire call. He's not bothering us in the least bit. So it wasn't appropriate for the driver to say something. So you have to repair that. You have to fix that with the police officer. Right. Okay? The other thing is you have to educate the driver. But also, as fire officers and firefighters, our duty is to educate the police on what to do, where to park in a fire situation. But that's a working relationship. It's working together, and we have to work that out all the time and keep on the same page. We're doing the same types of jobs. We're doing it together, whether it's a volunteer firefighter, a paid on-call, whatever it is. But from a volunteer perspective, you don't want to piss the police officers off, because they have a bigger hammer than you. You can get a summons every time you're riding to the firehouse. Your license plate is dirty, your lights are dirty, okay? They win. So you have to keep the relationships good. And in 99.9% of the departments across the country, the relationship is fine. You don't need one driver operator pissing off the entire local police department, so all of your members and their families are getting hammered. Anybody with a fire department sticker on the back of their windshield is getting a summons, parking, pulled over, whatever else. You don't need that. So the officer has to get out of the front seat, fix it with the police officer, and then talk to the operator of the apparatus about what they did.
Those people protect and serve the same people that we serve.
In this case, it's not, again, like you said, the building's not on fire, it's not an emergency, and the police officer was in the unit. It wasn't where they just parked it and left it. So here, we're definitely in the wrong, and we need to make it right, and we need to find out what's going on with the driver. Did our driver operator have an issue with that police officer previously? Is there something going on there that we need to be aware of, that we need to try to resolve?